guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Naku, excited na akong makakwentuhan tong ating kasama for this episode. Alam nyo, mapapasana all din kayo sa kanyang success here in Canada. He was able to build his wealth over the years, able to retire early. Pero alam nyo, kahit na meron siyang pwedeng panggastos, napaka humble and modest pa rin ng kanyang way of living. Kaya gusto ko to, no? Parang gusto ko maging ganun din ako. Anyway, yan po ang ating ang kakausapin po natin today. Ayan, si Luis Limhenco. Hi, Luis. How are you?
Musta? Magandang araw, Ina. Magandang araw. Magandang araw sa mga viewers ng In a Nutshell. Magandang araw sa inyo lahat.
Okay. Luis, tama naman yung pag-describe ko sa'yo, no? Very modest living, even if I know, mamaya malalaman ninyo guys, even if I know that you have a lot to spend, you can afford to maybe live a little luxurious lifestyle, yet you don't.
Yes, and Ina, I'm proud of it. People sometimes call me kuripot, and you know what? I say thank you for that compliment. Maraming salamat. You said it right. Maraming salamat, Ina, for describing me as such. Maraming salamat.
No, kaya ko po dinescribe siya. Okay, I don't know, maybe for some viewers, nakita ka na nila in some news reports, na interview na rin po siya a long time ago, na a while back sa Omni News, about his real estate ventures. Meron din po siyang vlog interview, talking about building wealth. Okay, pero sabi ko nga, for our episode, gusto ko i-focus yung way of living niya. Even with the success that he has, no? Just for a backgrounder na lang, baka sabihin nila, bakit? Ano bang napundar ni Luis dito sa Canada? Briefly first, retired early, nakapag-early retirement na tong si Luis, ano? You and your wife?
Yes,
retired
yes.
At what age?
So ako I retired nung last 2023, so 53 ako nung nag-retire ako. Yung wife ko nag-retire siya noong mga 2016, so she was around mga 44 nung nag-retire siya.
Oh, wow. Alam mo, gusto ko rin mag-retire early, no? So how were you guys able to retire early? And comfortably, I'm assuming, no?
Yeah, hindi naman maluho yung lifestyle namin. Very, very simple yung lifestyle namin. So Ina, yung nasabi mo nga, no? So since dumating kami sa Canada noong 2001, pagkakasal namin, wala kaming pera. So natuto kami magtipid, ano? Na since day one, natuto kami mag-shopping sa thrift store. Noong time yun, Goodwill, Value Village, and all that. Panay ang luto namin. Hindi kami masyadong bumibili ng mga bagay na hindi namin kailangan. Right? Sorry, hindi namin iba yung needs, iba yung wants. So hindi kami bumibili ng wants, panay needs lang and all that. So to this day, ganun pa rin kami. Hindi masyado nagbago yung lifestyle namin after 24, 25 years sa Canada. Ganun pa rin. Na itong painting na nasa likod ko, galing garage sale yan. Hanggang ngayon, nag-garage sale pa rin kami and all that. No? So hindi nagbago yung lifestyle namin since we got here.
Yeah, and of course, ang kanilang they were able to retire early primarily because of your investments in real estate.
Yes,
right?
that's correct. Kasi nung time na yun, Ina, nung 2001, sinwerte naman kami ng misis ko, no? Teacher siya nung sa Philippines siya, teacher siya sa LaSalle Taft. Ako naman nagtatrabaho pa sa isang telecoms company na doing finance, no? So, yung paglanting namin dito, nakuha namin yung trabaho na gusto namin. Day one, sinwerte kami, no? Sinwerte kami na ang first job sa amin, within 3 months, nakakuha siya ng teaching job. Ako naman, nakakuha ako ng trabaho sa isang telecoms company doing finance. So, tuloy-tuloy, parang seamless yung transition namin from the Philippines to Canada. And because of that, syempre, along with that job, okay naman yung sahod namin. And at the same time, matipid nga kami. Yung natitipid namin sobra, imbis na ginagastos namin sa maluluhong bagay, ini-invest namin. And ang time yun, mura real estate sa Toronto.
Yun na nga. Mamaya itatanong ko sa'yo, do you think it's still doable at this time with concerns about the housing crisis, high cost of homes?
Sure.
Yeah. Pero sige, balikan ko lang muna, no? I watched your report, di ba, with Ron. Hi, Ron. Hindi ko alam mo nanonood ka ng Omni News a couple of years ago. And you mentioned there, naku, tinanong talaga kung ilan ng mga rental properties mo ngayon, magkano ng asset value. At that time, in 2022, I remember, ang sagot mo nun, $8 million ang value ng iyong assets. I hope you don't mind, but baka may update ka na dyan dahil 3 years.
No. I don't mind naman, Ina, kasi nga, ang highlight naman nung interview na yun is yung kailangan magtipid ka. Kailangan marunong kang magtipid. Yeah. Kailangan marunong kang humawak ng pera. So, nag-grow namin yung assets namin since that time. Kasi 2022 pa yun, no? In the span of 3 years, kinontinue namin yung acquisition namin ng mga rental properties. So ngayon siguro nasa 10 million na yung market value ng mga properties na accumulate namin over the decades, no?
Oh, wow, so, 10 million. Anong pakiramdam na merong 10 million worth of assets in Canada? You know, and you know that a lot of people are, aspiring to get to that level, aspiring to even just own their first home. Alam mo yun? And then you have that.
Okay. So yung tanong mo, actually, hindi pa ako natatanong ng gano'n eh. Ano yung pakiramdam? Ano yung pakiramdam, ano? Kasi to me, it's just a number eh. It's just a number. Na actually, I have a few rental properties in the US at sa Canada. Ni isa hindi ko pa nakikita. Hindi ko pa napupuntahan. Oh? Hindi ko pa napupuntahan. Kasi nga, to me, I'm a finance guy. Tinitingnan ko yung numero lagi eh. Hindi importante sa akin na mahawakan ko yung property. Okay na sa akin yung picture. Okay na sa akin na makita ko kung paano siya gumagana at tumatakbo. So, sana mo, ano ang pakiramdam? Hindi ko alam kung paano ko sasagutin yan, ano yung pakiramdam. Siyempre, masaya siguro, masaya. Pero yung saya kasi is more on contentment na nag-work yung pag-sacrifice mo, nag-work yung pagkahirap mo. Kumbaga, yung mga pinag-aralan mo nung college about finance and all that, totoo pala na nangyayari sa real life. Na pwede pala, no? Pwede palang mangyari yun.
Oh, wait, so, I'm curious about that. Grabe talagang hindi mo man lang ini-inspect yung mga bahay na binibili mo.
Ang process kasi ng pagbili ng bahay, di ba? Before you buy it, may inspection process. So, kailangan magaling yung inspector. So, yung inspector, siya yung sumusuri niya kasi, sa Toronto naman dati, nung nakabili kami ng bahay dito, alam ko yung process eh. So, hindi ko kailangan pumunta dun sa site para makita ko yung bahay. Yung inspector, meron siya mga x-ray, ultraviolet rays, makikita niya lahat yan. So, sapat na yun para makita na ano ba yung bahay, ano ba yung kondisyon, at saka yung mga pictures. Okay na sa akin yun. Pero I don't need to go there to actually touch the house or what. Okay na sa akin yung pictures.
Yeah. So, okay. And this 10 million na assets, can you tell us again, para hindi nila napanood yung Omni News, how many properties, again, does this include itong portfolio mo na yan?
Siguro kasi dun sa Omni, I think nasabi ko mga 9 siya noon eh. Nag-grow ko siya ng mga 20 na siya, mga 20 siya ngayon, right?
20 doors?
20 structures, 20 properties.
Oh, wow.
Yung mga doors, I think it's around 100 yung mga doors, pero yung structures, mga 20 siya, under our names, under our names.
Wow.
Pero meron kami mga joint ventures. Pero yung mga joint ventures na hindi pa sa pangalan ko, no? Mm-hmm. So I think I have another 9 joint venture properties. So all in all, mga 20 plus 9 yung hawak namin ngayon.
Wow. That's so impressive. Wala akong masabi. Sa totoo lang, sana talaga maging ganun din ako, no?
Wow. Again, isa yung tanong mo, ano yung pakiramdam, ano? Again, ngayon ako natanong niyan, hindi ko na-expect yung ganun.
I mean, my gosh, be proud of it, right?
I don't want to use, I don't know if the word is, proud is the right word, but it's more like parang mission din yan eh. Parang mission na alam mo yun, na yung pera na nakukuha ko, hindi naman, it's not for me to burn eh. Kumbaga, hindi naman, porkat may ganyan ka, bibili ka ng maluhong kotse, maluhong painting na, ito $5 lang to. To me, parang responsibility mo yun na how would you grow it? And then, the intent here is, I'm gonna say it, no? The intent here is, to me, a successful life is to be able to give it away to the people who really need it. Right? Mm-hmm. Right? Kasi alam mo yung kakain ka ng sushi and steak araw-araw, tapos yung, alam mo, may nagugutom sa kalye or what, or sa Pilipinas, right? I think the better way of framing it is the ideal life is, alam mo yun, when before I go or what, syempre may iwan ako sa anak ko, but some things need to go to the poor, right?
Nice.
So rather than me burning it on a first class flight wherever or eating sushi and hindi ko masabi caviar kasi hindi pa ako nakakakain ng caviar eh. So feed fish and rice to the poor people and alam mo yun, continue eating the simple food that I eat and all that. So I guess yun, kaya mahirap yung tanong mo eh.
Grabe ha. Baka yung mga nanonood sa atin, mag-PM sa'yo niyan. Kami naman
so, sabi ko, kung nakaka-PM sila, ibig sabihin, may sila ng computer, mayaman sila. Okay?
Okay. But what do you think is it about? Yan ba yung, is that, kasi clearly, no, you have that mindset. That is also the reason why you really don't mind going to thrift stores, eating simple food, yung mga gano'n. Can you tell us about how you do your, you describe to us your lifestyle? What do you do now? Ang aga nyo nag-retire, ang sarap, ano? What do you do? Where do you shop? Anong hobbies ninyo pag ganyan?
Okay, so before I answer your question, kasi may tanong ka nung una eh, like, I think paano yung, how did we get to that kind of mindset yung sa thrift store? Actually, sa Philippines din ako nag-thrift store, okay? Sa Philippines, maporma ako, maluho ako. Pagdating dito, may na-meet yung wife ko sa school niya na sabi niya, ganda ng jacket ng co-teacher niya. Tapos sinabi ng co-teacher niya, I get this from Goodwill second-hand store. Nung sinabi sa akin ng misis ko, sabi niya, honey, punta tayo sa Goodwill. Na time na Goodwill. Sabi ko, anong Goodwill? Ano yung sabi yung second-hand store? Ano yung second-hand store? Kadiri yan. So, no way. Right? So sinamahan ko siya. Tapos pagpunta ko ron, ang ganda ng mga clothes. So doon ako na-hook na mag-thrift store, and from there on, hindi na nagsimula yon. So and then yung pangalawang tanong mo is how do we spend our days, no? Kasi nga retired na kami. So noong first year namin na magkasama, we did travel. Nagpunta kami sa States for a month and all that. So tapos since ngayon we plan to travel also. Pero how do we spend our days? Mostly, we love walking around. No?
Simple joys, ano?
Alam mo, the best joys in life is when you walk with somebody. Again, sayang wala yung misis ko dito, pero sumisip ako sa kanya. Alam mo yun, yung how I dreamt life na never ako nagkaroon ng girlfriend, siya yung una kong girlfriend eh.
Okay.
Yung life na, alam mo yun, pareho kayong masaya, pareho kayong in line, no? Pareho kayong na in line na yung values are very, very similar. And the fact that I can, on a weekday, on a Monday or whatever, I can walk to the park with her after lunch and just talk about silly stuff, right? And be who I am na, alam mo yun, walang filter, yung mga kung ano, sabi ko minsan, sabi nga niya, minsan, mag-vlog ka nga. So yun yung how we spend our days. Minsan we go to the malls kasi pagka malamig, we walk around the malls and all that. Yun ang araw namin, we just walk around.
Ang saya, no?
So Ina, since alam naman nila that you were a CNN reporter.
Ang tagal na nun.
Alright, pero alam mo yun, siguro outside of the interview, marami kang interesting kwentos about how you got here, no? Pero yeah, I'll leave it at that.
No.
Okay.
What I will say is I think we share the same mindset of being grateful for,
For sure.
Yeah, grateful for the little things, and sa totoo lang, yun talaga ang nagmamatter. Yun ang nakakapagpasaya sa akin, yung mga
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Ina. I'm glad you mentioned that, no? Na kaya siguro napakasimple namin. Napakababaw ng kaligayahan namin. Napakababaw na the fact that after more than 2 decades here in Canada, I still say thank you. Thank you na nandito kami, no? Mm-hmm. It's not because may bahay kami. It's not because I have all these rentals. The number one thank you lagi is Canada, no? Na because of Canada, nakakatulog ako ng bihing-bing. Because of Canada, yung anak ko nakakaaral ng libre. Because of Canada, alam mo yun, I didn't have to worry about saving for my hospital bills down the road or what. Mm-hmm. Wala kang ganung concern, right? Tapos, nalala ko nung first job offer ko dito, so, nagtanong ako, ano itong EI? Employment insurance. Pagka ma-layoff ka, may bayad ka sa gobyerno. Sabi ko, alam mo yun, these little things I appreciate to this day na I'm so grateful na, syempre, maraming pagkukulang ang Canada, but at the end of the day, it's worth being grateful to these little things up to this time.
Yeah. Okay? Okay. What do you say to those who might, tell you, nako, swerte ka kasi nung dumating ka dito sa Canada, mura pa yung mga bahay, etc. Ngayon, as we know, there is a housing crisis. Let's say in the busier areas, napakamahal ng bahay, they might say, Luis, kaya ko pa ba magawa yung nagawa ninyo?
Alam mo, Ina, may mga namita ko mga Filipinos rin, ano? Mga Filipinos who came here much later than I did. And okay, I started my real estate journey ng mga early 2000s, right? And true, I was lucky kasi mura pa yung mga bahay noon. Pero I met people, mga Filipino rin, ano? Mga Filipino who did not even have the formal education that I had. And they came here as factory workers. One was even a pandesal vendor. Pandesal delivery boy. They started their real estate journey mga 5-7 years ago. And you know what? They have a similar portfolio than I do. They have more than 100 doors. Magugulat ka how these people did it, no? In fact, I can introduce you to them kung gusto mo eh. Alam mo yun, the way they did it was very different from how I did it.
Yeah.
And I actually learned from them. I learned from the ex-pandesal delivery boy. I learned from the ex-factory worker. Kasi ang galing nila eh.
Right? Oy, by the way, shout out din. I know we have a common friend, si Fritz Villegas, no?
Si Fritz.
Ko rin yung kanyang also invests in real estate.
Yeah.
Oo nga. Oy, teka muna. Sorry I'll just butt in. May babatiin pinapabati to ni Fritz. Mga kaibigan niya na nanonood daw lagi dito sa International. Si Jasper and Mara Mariano. Hey, Jasper and Mara, dyan daw sa Toronto. Ayan, where you are also. Okay, what is this? Asan na ba tayo?
You mentioned Fritz.
You talked about being thankful, no? Na nandito ka sa Canada. So, ngayon, balikan natin. Why did you leave the Philippines pala?
Okay, kasi ano yun eh. Actually, before, I was blessed na nakapag-aral ako sa abroad nung college ako. After college, nag-aral ako sa Japan tsaka sa US, ano. And then after that, bumalik ako sa Pilipinas. In yung time ni Ramos, ano. Bumalik ako sa Pilipinas. Kasi two things. Number one is, sabi nila, hey, ang dami nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Maraming opportunities dito. Maganda na Pilipinas. Ang ganda ng takbo, ang ganda ng economy ng Philippines yung time nila, remember, after Cory to Ramos, right? So balik ako naman 97. Galing, ano? So yeah, so I got a job sa investment bank sa Manila. And noong time na yun, election na. And nagulat ako na ang nananalo, ang leading candidate was a candidate na hindi ko gusto, no? Na sabi ko, kasi baka mag-swap ng cord, no? So hindi ko siya gusto. Tapos nagulat ako na nananalo siya, na very, very popular. So sabi ko, oh my gosh, doon ko nakita na I cannot really make a difference in changing the leadership. Kasi alam ko when the leader changes and palpak yung magkakandaloko-loko, right? So sabi ko, ayoko na nito. So yun na nga, then nagkaroon ako ng girlfriend. First time, bilang mo 27, first girlfriend. Tapos, pagkakasabi ko sa kanya, hey, alis na ng Philippines. Ayaw nga niya umalis muna. Sabi niya, sarap na buhay natin dito. Sabi ko, no, hindi yung future para sa atin. So, pagkakasal namin, alis na kami. Because of that, nakita namin na medyo masama yung trajectory. The people were electing politicians na hindi talaga qualified, right? So yun yung ano. And true enough, to this day, I mean, this coming election sa May, right? And I'm gonna say it, right? So you see the leaders like parang Itbulaga at Bawawi na lang yung Senado natin, right? So to this day, the-validate. The-validate yung ano namin, okay?
Yeah, that was actually yung sasabihin ko, no? I'm sure when you read about what's going on back home, it's not so kung sino yung ano but the whole situation is, hasn't changed much since you left. And I'm sure nafe-feel mo na, ay, nare-reinforce lang yung decision mo back then.
Correct. And that's why to this day, I'm still very grateful. Again, marami akong kaibigan who have been here for 2 decades like me. Sila, iba na yung mindset nila, medyo nagreklamo sila about the things. Yung liberal, ganyan. Conservative, ganyan. Ako naman, hey, to me, I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here. Alam mo yun? I don't really care kung may mga petty things na pinag-aawayan. At least dito walang pinapatay, walang sinasalvage, walang tinotokhang, walang ninanakaw na bilyon-bilyon, wala tayong parang Itbulaga at Bawawi na Senado. Alam mo yun? Maayos pa rin dito. So I'm very happy to be here. So yun.
Yeah. No, I get you, of course, no. Guys, Canada isn't perfect also.
For sure.
May mga problema din sa healthcare kahit publicly funded yung healthcare dito. Pero compared to what we know is happening back home. Ako personally, I can't complain anymore. Dahil ang laki ng change, no, ng sitwasyon na dito. But anyway, okay, nako, baka they might want to know, Luis, how you were able to build your your real estate, empire. Kasi alam nyo, dumating si Luis dito and his wife. So they were able to get the same jobs they had back in the Philippines. Pero yung savings ninyo was just, you didn't have a lot to work with when you started out, right?
Yes, kasi bagong kasal kami and we had around just 12,000 Canadian dollars. Yun na yung buong ipon namin from the Philippines, dinala namin dito. Pero ang ano namin is yun na nga, dahil nga yung sweldo namin sa mga trabaho namin, tinitipid namin talaga. In fact, bago kami bumili ng kotse, unang binili namin bahay.
Oo, sabi nila, yun daw dapat talaga.
Wala kaming kotse ha. Bahay yung binili namin, townhouse binili namin. Nung time na yun kasi, nung 2001, napansin namin na for the same townhouse, kung magre-rent kami ng townhouse na yun, mas mura pa yung mortgage payment namin kung bibili namin. Okay? So that was, sabi namin, that's a no-brainer. Pa tayo uupa? Kung yung mortgage mas mura. So binili namin yung townhouse na yun, yung unang-una naming property. Right? And doon nagsimula na, okay, definitely it makes sense. Kasi sabi namin, if people are willing to rent the same townhouse for more money than the mortgage, then maybe we can buy another one, right? And have the tenant pay for it. So doon nagsimula yung concept namin. Tapos ako, finance guy ako, tinitingnan ko sa spreadsheet. Yung para mako-cover nga niya lahat. Hindi lang yung mortgage, pati yung property tax, pati yung insurance. Kasi nga napakamura ng bahay noon. Okay?
Yeah, noon.
So ganun yung ginawa namin. Pagka bili ng isang bahay, ipon ulit, and then bili ng pangalawang bahay. Tapos pagka nagkaroon ng tenant, lalapit kami sa bangko, sabi namin sa bangko, hey, Mr. Bangko, meron kaming additional income, pwede mo pa ba kami pautangin? Oo naman yung bangko, so mag-iipon na naman kami ng down payment, tapos bibili ng next. So, ganun lang yung ginagawa namin, iniikot namin. So, ganun.
Nice. Oo nga. Some might say, many people are allergic to the word utang. Yan. How do you explain it to them? Naku, sabihin niyo meron siyang 10 million in assets pero lahat yan, utang, binabayaran pa hanggang ngayon. There are people with that mindset.
Ang maganda naman doon is kasi nga nagsimula kami ng maaga, mababa lang yung utang namin actually relative to the gross net worth nung assets. Mababa lang yung utang namin. It's less than 30% right now.
Oh, nice.
Right? So kasi nagsimula kami doon pa nabibili namin yan mga like a fraction of the price of what it is today.
Yeah.
Okay? So yung iba doon hindi na namin binitawan. So nag-grow na siya over the decades. Nice. Okay? So at saka ngayon kasi nag-retire na kami, hindi na kami gano'n ka-aggressive mag-umutang. Nung bata kami, nung 54 na pala ako, nung bata kami, nung may full-time jobs pa kami, talagang tira na tira. Minamaximize namin yung utang namin na yung pwedeng pigayin sa bangko.
Pero kasi there are debts that work for you, right?
For sure. In fact, some of my friends na yun nga, mga investors din sila, sinasabi nila, Luis, you should expand further. Sabi ko, not at this stage of my life, na tingin ko okay na to. Na, in fact, sabi ko, minsan nga, dapat retired na ako, minsan iniisip ko pa minsan, kasi marami akong tenants, nagkakaroon ng mga problema. Minsan, may property manager ako, so lumalapit sa akin. Sabi ko, there comes a time na alam mo, yung anak ko na bahala dyan. Pero ako, okay na ako dito.
Yeah. Kumbaga, na parang ngayon is a time to maybe enjoy na lang and relax. Huwag nagdagdagan.
Yeah. Pero alam mo, nakakamiss din minsan Alam mo, minsan nakakamiss din na alam mo yung I think the reason why gusto ko ng mga thrift store, gusto ko ng garage sale, kasi parang yung hunting of the right deal.
Yeah.
I think that's what drives me. Parang ganoon sa real estate Parang you have to find the right house na super sale. Parang bibili ako ng painting. Ito, hindi ko kung magkano to. $5 lang, bibiling ko. Right?
Yeah.
Kasi yun yung ganoon. Yun yung naghahanap ka ng pulot. I guess yun yung thrill. Kaya ganoon.
Yeah. I in one of your interviews sa isang magazine yata, nakita ko, one advice na na-mention mo dun is never fall in love with the property that you buy, no? Expound a little bit on that nga.
And that's the reason why I don't visit these properties, no? Kasi meron kaming properties sa Las Vegas. Mas maganda pa kaysa dito sa tinitirahan namin. Kasi bago yung mga yun Ito kasi mga 1970s tinayo ito Yung mga binili namin sa Vegas, mga ano yun eh, mga 2000s ginawa, mga bago, tsaka magaganda. Mas malaki pa dito, right? And nakuha namin yun kasi bumagsak yung market eh. Bumagsak yung market nila nung Lehman 2008, 2011 talagang bagsak siya. Yung dating mga ano yan eh, matatas yung value nakuha namin, mga tigwa 150 lang yan eh. Right? Right? And these were owned by doctors and lawyers before it crashed. So we got it really cheap and they're really magaganda nila, magaganda. I didn't want to go there kasi eventually bibenta mo yun, investment yan eh. Kasi pag makita ng misis ko yan, ay, ayoko na ibenta to, maganda to. So that was the reason back then. Pero ngayon, she knows why we don't have to go there, right? In fact, nagpunta kami sa Las Vegas nung October, a few months ago. We didn't even bother looking at those houses. Kasi sabi naman, sayang naman yung oras. So we were there I think we were there for more than a week. Hindi naman binisita. Kasi sabi namin, detached talaga. It's an investment. Detached talaga.
Yeah.
Okay?
I guess talagang you're really a numbers guy, To you see these as talagang, diba? Hindi sila something na parang, wala ka talagang emotional attachment to them.
And it works both ways. You don't fall in love and you don't hate it too. Kasi nga, alam mo yun, parang it's just a number, right? It's just a number. Right?
Yeah. Okay. O dahil tinan mo, mag-half hour na agad tayo, di ba? Ang bilis ng oras. Ako, I'm curious, Luis. Maybe some might say, alam mo, you could have also done that naman in the Philippines. Do you think there's the system in Canada that allowed you to do it better, easier? May ganun bang feeling? Mo ba minsan?
We did try look at properties in the Philippines. Ang problema kasi walang cash flow eh. Mahirap ang cash flow sa Philippines. Napakamahal ng properties. At tinignan na namin Manila and then we also looked at Davao. Mahirap ang cash flow kasi napakamahal ng properties sa Philippines relative to the rental revenue, right? The important thing here is dapat nagka-cash flow lahat.
Yeah.
Okay? Kasi pag hindi ka nagka-cash flow, you're not investing, you're speculating.
Okay.
So yun yung rule number one. Sa Philippines kaya hindi namin nagawa ito dahil wala kaming nakitang cash flow positive na property. That's one. Second is kung meron man, like sa Davao, may nakita kaming, this might cash flow. Wala yung structure na can you find a decent property manager na hindi tatakbo yung asset, hindi ka nanakawan. Ano yung habol mo? Kunyari, nakawan ka ng property manager. Ano yung habol mo? Nasa Canada ka. Right? Unlike sa North America, pwede mo habulin eh. Pwede mo habulin yung property manager eh, right? So, those are the two main reasons why hindi kami sa Philippines. And pangatlo, syempre, yung risk of devaluation ng peso and all that. So,
yeah. Okay. Speaking of positive cash flow, last na to. Baka may gusto mo humingi ng tip
ask
sa'yo.
all you want.
Baka may gusto mo humingi ng tip. O sige, at this time na ang mamahal ng bahay sa Canada, which areas do you think? Kasi let's say Toronto, no? Some people there parang hopeless na makabili ng bahay if they're just, earning regular salaries. Would you suggest some areas where they can look at possibly buying a house and having a tenant na mag-result into a positive cash flow? Yan.
Okay, yeah. So, good question, Ina. No? So ngayon, wala na akong nato sa Toronto. Wala akong nato sa Ontario. Okay. Kasi sa Toronto, wala nang cash flow eh. So, I sold it and I bought elsewhere na may cash flow. No? So, the three areas that I have rentals is sa Las Vegas, Alberta, and sa New Brunswick. Right? Recently, we've been acquiring sa New Brunswick kasi mura yung mga bahay dun eh. Like, may nabili kaming fourplex at saka duplex. Fourplex and duplex, may nag-retire. Fourplex and duplex.
Nice.
Tig for 40K each. Right? So 40K, mas mura pa kasi sa magandang kotse.
40K ang total value?
Yung total value ng bahay. So yung bahay, 40, like naging 40 plus 40, 80. Kasi ginawa kong package deal eh. Nag-retire yung isang landlord. Gusto niya nang ibenta. So 40 plus 40, 80 for a duplex and for a fourplex and a duplex. Right? And napaparent ko siya ngayon napaparent ko siya ng more than $6,000 a month, right? So wala ka ng cash flow, right?
Yeah, wow.
Pero syempre, on top of that, I needed to spend another 40,000 to rehabilitate the property. So yung total cost ko doon is 40 plus 40 plus 40, 120. Pero yung total cash flow ko is 6,000 a month, right? So can you imagine that if you do the mental math, no, 120K property, pero I can easily get $60,000 worth of revenue per year. So in
Yeah.
2 years, bawi mo na yung on alam mo yun? So ganun kabilis yung cash flow, right? Right? So I look at these cheap places na malakas yung cash flow. Ganun yung ganun. So to answer your question, yes, it is still possible to do it in Canada or even in the US. May mga places sa US na maganda yung cash flow. But you just have to be able to find the deal. Okay? Okay? And definitely the GTA, again, like I said, I have zero rentals in the GTA. Zero in Ontario.
All right. Well, that's a good tip, ano? Okay. Oy, sige, we will end this episode here na, but thanks for sharing your story.
Maraming salamat din, Ina, for having me. Maraming salamat.
No?
Maraming salamat, no. And again, yun nga, sana people will learn how to save and not be selfish, no. Again, the goal here is not for me to burn all of this. Alam mo yun, the goal here is to help the poorest of the poor. And alam mo yun, when the time comes na hindi ko na kailangan lahat to, I told my son this should go to where it's supposed to go. So yeah. Yun yung goal. We'll see if we can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, diba guys? Sana na-inspire kayo at sana matularan ng marami, no? Imbis na mag-ipon. Dapat ako tutularan ko. I will do as much as I can. Ipon, diba? Invest. We'll see. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Guys, dito na
Truly enjoyed it. Maraming salamat.
I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Bye. Salamat.